And we're in, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where you might be asking, what are we doing here? Sitting in the rain, next to a fountain, in front of the Thaumaturge's Guild. Well, the simple answer is, we'll be doing a different type of episode today. I'm explaining, Orbo. You see, I realized something. I've been doing Final Fantasy videos for a good long time, and I think I need a break from this game. Now, it's not a break in the traditional sense, it's more of a... I need a break and... Oops, let me zoom out. Too far. I need a break in the terms of... I have a lot to do off camera. Mainly leveling. I got a lot of leveling to do. So with that being, the case, I think it's time I take a break from Final Fantasy. Now, this won't be a long break. This won't be a year break. This won't be a 6-month break. It won't even be a 3-month break. It's going to be somewhere between, I'd say 2 to 4 weeks, or 2 to 4 episodes worth of videos I'm taking a break from. And during that time, I'll take a nice little break from Final Fantasy. Then I'll come back and do some leveling. Why not? Kinda have to, because from now on, I want to be able to switch class every episode to keep it different. Yeah, it will take me a while, but you know what? It's what I want to do. So you might be asking, well, what are we doing this episode? Well, I had a problem with that, because on the one hand, I want to do more of the story. But I don't want to do more story, get to a good point, and then take a break for a month, So what I decided to do was, I'm going to walk around, Uda, my starting area, so it's special to me. Talk about the story and where we've come, everything we've done so far. And then I was going to look at the classes, try to predict how each class is going to work, so what we have to look forward to, look over their abilities and whatnot. And then we'll say goodbye for now. Again, it will be for a couple weeks, 2 to 4 episodes, and I do have a replacement game ready to go, so don't worry about that. So yeah, that's today's episode. Basically, I'm going to take a break from Final Fantasy for just a couple of weeks. Let myself reset, get readjusted, and do some leveling off camera. And by some, I mean a lot. I have Black Mage, Paladin, well, my Paladin's leveled up the most, Archer, Marauder, Conjurer, Arcanist, Lancer, Pugilist, Rogue, and then I also want to level up Miner, Botanist, Goldsmith, Alchemist, Leatherworker, Blacksmith, and Armorer. Why? Well, for many reasons. One, vanity. I will get vanity off camera. Yes, I promise. Also, our accessories. Earrings, the choker, the wrist, the rings. Yeah, these, except for this one's really good. They're all, well, maybe not this one, but I have weak accessories, so I gotta work on accessories, and I don't know how to get that, but yeah, so off camera, I will be doing a lot of leveling. Maybe even doing some of these blue quests. I say maybe because, well, this one just gives good equipment. But I believe some of these are, like features. Because the other classes were marked as these blue quests. Let me see what you do. Fantasia. Basically, doing this allows me to have Fantasia, which I think lets me basically recreate my character if I ever want to for some reason. So maybe I'll find a few of these that are just smaller, like that equipment one, do them for better equipment, I don't know. But with that being said, let's go back to our little sitting spot, as it was the first important spot to our character. We were a thaumaturge first and foremost. So we'll sit there and, well, maybe not sit there because I gotta go through my gear. We'll look at the characters and stuff like that. But first, a recap of the story. So let me just sit down in my favorite little fountain, zoom in, and time for stories. So as far as I can remember, sorry about that, server crash. It's like it's an omen telling me time to take a break. Yeah. So where was I? Ah yes, story time. Shut up, Orbo. It's not like I'm actually doing a story, I'm just recapping as I remember. So if I recall correctly, we were just travelers on our way to Ul'dah to become thaumaturges, to master the way of magic. We proceeded to level up, and while in Ul'dah, we were tasked with a quest, as you usually are. Proceeding through the quest line, you meet more characters, things happen, you help out Ul'dah with this problem. I forget what our first problem was we solved, but we solved it. Enter the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, which is basically the main story part. People and a group of adventurers whose purpose is simply put to knock out the primals. And we've been successfully doing that. Took care of Ifrit, negotiated with the Sylphs for Ramuh, we just defeated Titan, and we're on our way to fight Garuda. Of course, our base of operations were attacked and we lost some dear friends, including Neuroxia. That was actually a devastating loss, may she rest in peace. And I know there's a lot more to it, but that's the main point I remember. Be it good, be it bad, that's what happened. Now, in addition to that, you have individual stories, the Thaumaturge. We went from mastering magic to learning the ways to freeing a possessed friend and almost losing our masters in the process. But luckily we overcame it and we became a black mage for our trouble. And we have a new master who is apparently in prison, who is not in prison. Whatever that is. And on top of that, we are now a paladin, which started as a gladiator, which we didn't do anything about gladiators, it was mostly hunting down one person who was a betrayer, I think, or something like that. For a gladiator, you figure it was going to be like a tournament arc. But it really wasn't. We were training with a former gladiator champion and took care of a betrayer, I believe. And that was that. But now we're on the path of a paladin, which is, once again, finding a betrayer. What's with the sword and shield having a bunch of betrayers? Who knows. Anyways, so, that's basically all I can remember from the story. There's a lot of things I'm missing, trust me, I know. There's a whole Garlean Empire and their plot to take over Eorzea, and they have a secret group who wants to destroy Eorzea. I don't know. Anyways, so that's the basics of the story that I remember. Like I said, there's more to it than that, but that's the basic summary. So now, let us go over the characters. Starting with Archer. Oh cool, I'm still sitting. Nice. So Archer abilities, I've actually been learning because I've been leveling them up. Don't worry, I've not done anything with the story, that's all saved for on camera. But I have learned how to play this character, and most importantly, the importance of global cooldowns versus off-global cooldowns. What are those? Well, basically, it's complicated. You have abilities like Heavy Shot and Venomous Bite. These two, the main abilities. When you cast one, they both go on cooldown until they're recast. So you can't just spam one to the next to the next. These I think are called global cooldowns if I recall correctly. Thank you. And so you have to use one, then the next, then the next. Or they have ability like this Bloodletter, which is called, I believe, the correct term is off global cooldown. Or basically, you can use it whenever and it has its own charge rate. So basically, you can Heavy Shot, and when you're done with Heavy Shot while it's waiting to be recast, or Venomous Bite, you can instantly use Bloodletter. It doesn't affect anything. It has a lower cooldown because of it, but you can do basically more actions per second. Now the reason this is important is because I learned the Paladin has that. Has one off global cooldown, and when I started weaving that into combos, guess what? I was doing way more damage. So this has really taught me global cooldown versus off global cooldown, which I wasn't really getting from Paladin or Black Mage. Those are kind of, you cast and you go. But now that I know how this works, it's another tool in my repertoire. But basically the Archer is what you expect. Stay back, fire a shot. Although I will complain about this, I don't like the stray shot, because you can only use stray shot if you have a charge of Hawk's Eye, which you only have a 20% chance of getting when using heavy shot. Combine that with my bad luck, and I kid you not, while I've been farming up levels, doing dungeon raids we've already done, I fought an entire boss and didn't get one proc of stray shot. A 20% chance, I must do this minimum 20 times. And I didn't get a proc once. And yeah, against little NPCs, I've attacked with this 3 times, I got 3 procs of Hawk's Eye. So, I don't know if I'll be playing Archer going forward, but it's a pretty simple basic class. You stay back, and you shoot them. I haven't unlocked this yet, but get out of the way, jump backwards. I just unlocked this, which is a cone, not AoE. This, I believe, is AoE. And then this is just extra damage. And yeah, pretty straightforward, it's an archer. You stay back, you shoot things. Sorry about that. I thought we were gonna have another server crash. Next up, Marauder, which is the other tank we have available to us. As you can see, they have an axe. Now, the person I talked to basically said, hey, this is a class for being a devastating force on the battlefield, basically forcing enemies to fight you. Which kind of makes sense, they're a tank. So let's look at their abilities and see if we can figure out their playstyle. Heavy swing, basic attack. Deliver attack with a potency, it's a combo. So this is our same thing we have with a paladin. Attack with this, then you attack with this. Which means one of these is probably going to be the third one to it. Berserk grants 3 stacks of Berserk, each stack guaranteeing weapon skill attacks are critical and direct hits. Ooh, interesting. Increases damage dealt when under certain effect that raises critical hit rate or direct hit rate. So it's a self-buff. Interesting. Overpower. Deliver attack with a potency of 100 to all nearby enemies. So it's a self-AoE. Paladin have this again. Defiance significantly increases enmity. That's your stance. Okay, it's called Defiance. Interesting. Tomahawk. A range attack. The Paladin has Shield Lob, which accomplishes the same thing. So far, the only difference is Berserk. I'm hoping for these later abilities. Deliver attack with a potency of... This is the third one. Ooh, but it restores your own HP. Sorry about that. So many interruptions. It's as if fate is telling me, yeah, you need a break from Final Fantasy. So as I was talking about, Storm's Path. It's the third hit in our 2-hit combo, heavy swing into maim into Storm's Path. We already have this with the Paladin. Only this heals you if you land it, which means, 1, we don't need a white mage as much or a healer, but it also means that we don't have anything to reduce our damage taken right now. Instead we have a self-heal, which I'm okay with. It's a different kind of playstyle, and I kind of like it. But we'll see if that's how the playstyle is going forward. A damage dealer who heals himself for tanking this. Because you can be tanky in several different ways. A giant health pool, a bunch of armor and damage reduction, or self-healing to the point where you're never going to die. So there's multiple ways you can tank. There's no right or wrong way. And so far, if this is how the theme is going to go, yay, it's different from Paladin. They're not all the same. Thrillless Battle. Increases maximum HP by 20% and restores the amount increased. Right there. Increase max health, increases and heals it. So this could be a self-sustained tank that does damage. Marauder might be more my style. Vengeance. That sounds nice. Reduces damage taken by 30% and delivers an attack with a potency of 55 every time you suffer physical. Okay, so there is a damage reduction one, but the difference is instead of just being pure damage reduction, it also deals damage back. I might have been playing the wrong class in Paladin. I think Marauder might be my style. Holmgang. Viking power. Brace yourself for enemy onslaught, preventing most attacks from reducing your HP to less than 1. What? The Paladin version is you can't take damage for most attacks. This one you just don't go below 1 HP. I mean, I guess your healer has a lot of work to do, but you have this for healing, this technically heals. Yeah, the Marauder might be more my playstyle. And Storm's Eye. Deliver attack with potency of 100. Combos for maim. Okay, so we have a second option. This is a self-heal, where this is grants Surging Tempest. Does the same amount of damage, increasing damage dealt by 10%. You can do it twice for a maximum of 60 seconds. Okay, so basically the combo is for this class is you do heavy swing to main, or you start off by using vengeance. Actually no, not vengeance. Thrill of battle. You do this when you're fighting a boss so you have more health. Then you do heavy swing to main to Storm's Eye twice, increasing your damage dealt by 10% for a solid minute. Then you start spamming Storm's Path, healing yourself. So not only do you have more health, you're healing yourself, you have a damage buff, and then if you start to take a lot of damage, you pop this, take 30% damage reduction, very nice, but also do damage back. I should have been playing Marauder this whole time. Shut up, Orbo. This sounds like perfect playstyle for me as a tank. I mean, I am enjoying the Paladin, but the Paladin seems... I mean, I haven't unlocked too many Paladin... just on a basis to go... Sorry, I'm just a little flustered that I should have been playing Marauder this whole time. Alright, Conjurer, this is the White Mage. I believe we looked over the abilities already. But we'll do it just to be safe. So this is a healer class. Stone, deal earth damage. I still know the point of classifying damage type, maybe I'll learn eventually. With a potency of 140. Cure, restore target's HP. Alright, pretty simple with a healer. I believe these are all global cooldowns. Arrow, deal wind damage with a potency of 50. Causes a dot. Okay, so that's a single target, cure, and a dot. Medica. Restore own HP and the HP of all nearby party members. So it's specifically a self-heal that heals everybody around you while this is a targeted heal. Does less healing, but it can hit multiple targets, including yourself. Interesting. Raise, resurrect a dead ally. You get that at level 12? Yeah, it is a little strong. I mean, I guess White Mage are your basic healers. Interesting. Stone 2, more damage. Let's see, 200 is... So it's just straight up an upgrade from Stone 1. It does 50 more damage, has the same cast time and cooldown, same MP cost, so it's just straight up a replacement. Interesting. Cure 2. Restore 700 potency health. That's almost double. But it does cost more, so you want to have both cures still. Arrow 2 for the same MP cost. Does 50 damage versus 50. Does wind damage for... Okay, so the damage over time goes up. Okay, so that's also straight replacement. This costs 100 more MP. But still restores your own HP. With a less cure potency, goes down from 300 to 200. Go back. But it does a regen of 100 for 15 seconds, so that's an extra 1500. Okay. That, I think, is also a replacement for 100 more cost. Okay, so, Conjurer, which becomes White Mage. Pretty straightforward. You use Stone when you're attacking. Use Cure if one person's on low health. If your party's on low health, you cast Medica. Use Arrow for a damage over time, so you start off with Arrow, blast them with Stone. Oh no, my party member's dying. Cast Cure on them. If your whole team's dying, you cast Medica, restoring your own HP, and theirs as well. And if anybody falls in battle, you can resurrect them. Straightforward, simple, but I like it. Probably a good starter class for healer, which I'm going to need because I'm probably going to suck with healer. Alright, next class is Arcanist. Let's see what abilities the Arcanist has. Whoa, that's a lot. A pet? I guess this class does become a summoner. Okay, let's see what we have. Are you ready, Orbo, for a lot of reading? Too bad. Ruin. Deals unaspected damage with a potency of 240. So, again, what's the difference between Earth, Wind, and unaspected? That has to come into play eventually. Summon Carbuncle. Summons a Carbuncle. Don't know what that means. Gonna have to probably level up to find out what summons do. Radiant Aegis. Orders Carbuncle, there we go, to execute Radiant Aegis. which creates a barrier around self and absorbs damage, totaling 20% of maximum HP. So, can only be executed while Carbuncle is summoned. So you order your summon to put a shield on you for 20% of your maximum HP. So is that actually only on me, or can I put that on an ally? Because a Marauder who has 20% already from its ability, plus high health of a tank, plus Aegis, probably a pretty big shield. Psychic. Or Physic. Probably Physic, not Psychic. Yeah, Physic, what am I saying? Restore target's HP. Okay, another heal. Aether Charge. Grants Aether Charge, increasing the potency of Ruin. This one. Ruin 2 and Ruin 3. And Outburst. Outburst is a later spell by 20. But also grants Ruby Arcanum. Okay, so this you have to do this to this. So you activate Aether Charge to level up Ruin, but it also grants you Ruby Arcanum, which is probably has something to do with this. Summons a Ruby Carbuncle and orders it to execute Glittering Ruby. Glittering Ruby rushes target and deals fire damage for 400 potency. Grabs 2 stacks of Fire Attunement. Fire Attunement, Gemshine, and Precious Brilliance become fire. Which is later. Actually, Gemshine's right there. Become fire damage. Okay, so there has to be a typing thing, even though the game has explained it. Can only execute while in effect of Ruby Carbuncle, Ruby Arcanum. Okay, so you use this to cast spells, you summon this, it's probably a one-time summon, unless it has a health bar. Then you use this as a self-shield, which makes sense, and this is a heal. Then you unlock Aether Charge, increasing your damage of Ruin and allows you to summon Ruby Carbuncle. While Ruby Carbuncle is out, this attack becomes fire. Okay, what's this attack do? Channel the energies of your active elemental attunement to attack your enemy. Deal fire, earth, or wind damage. Okay. So I'm guessing I can only do this with elemental ruby? Interesting. Fester. Deal unexpected damage with 340. Aether flow gauge cost 1. I don't know what any of this means. This is probably something I'm going to have to do a lot of research in off camera when I level it up. Energy Drain. Deal unexpected damage of 200 potency with Aether Flow 2. Aether Flow. That's probably something when I lock it, it'll tell me. Resurrection. Revive, okay? Summon Topaz. Summon a Topaz Carbuncle to execute Glittering Topaz. But Arcanum. Okay, well, sure. Topaz Arcanum. What gives me Topaz Arcanum? Whatever. I'm sure it'll tell me. Let's see. Rushes target and deal earth damage, gives 4 stacks of earth attunement, and makes it earth. Okay, so it's the same thing, only it's earth damage and has 4 stacks versus 2. Summon Emerald. Summon an Emerald Carbuncle that does wind damage, gives 4 wind attunement. Everything becomes wind. How do you activate these? I'm sure it'll tell me. Let's see. Outburst. Deal unexpected damage with potency of 1 to all targets. Okay, so it's an AoE. Let's see. Channel the energies of your active elemental attunement to attack multiple enemies. So this is a AoE fire, AoE wind, AoE earth, depending on what carbuncle you have out. And Ruin, which is just an upgrade to the first. Okay, this. You doing okay, Orbo? Yeah, this is a little bit confusing. I'm sure it'll make more sense as we play and unlock it, but let's see. Radiant. Oh, this is the pet action. So this allows me to see what Radiant Agent actually does. The same thing. Okay, so this is doing a lot of aspect damage, which means I probably should look up aspect to damage. Fire damage versus earth versus wind, if there's a reason for it, and stuff like that. But I'm gonna have to learn the mechanics of the summon before I can even think about how this class works. If it works, cool. Cool. If it's confusing as frick, I ain't touching it. Alright, we have 3 more. Lancer. Which, uses a lance, not a book. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Conjurer has like a little stick. Marauder, and I mentioned Marauder has an axe, and this has a polearm. Okay, abilities, what do? True Thrust. Phrasing. Deliver attack with a potency of 170, basic attack. Vorpal Thrust. Deliver attack with a potency of 100. But if you go from True Thrust, it does more. Okay, so your basic combo, we've learned that from Paladin / Gladiator. Life Surge. Ensure critical damage for first weapon skill used while Life Surge is active. So the first one of these use crits while you activate it. So you probably want to use it on Vorpal Thrust and not True Thrust. Increases damage dealt by the effect that raises crit hit rate. Cannot apply damage, cannot be used to absorb damage over time. Or cannot be applied to damage over time. So you can't boost the damage of dot effects. Got it. Additional effect, absorb the potion damage dealt as HP. So, you use this, you use True Thrust, then you pop Life Surge to do Vorpal Thrust, which it says guarantee crit, and while active also heals me. So, but it only lasts for 5 seconds, so yeah, you kinda wanna pop it on your big attack. That's interesting. That's interesting, Lancer. Okay, we have Piercing Talon, deliver a ranged attack with a 150. It's a ranged attack, can't hurt. Disembowel, sounds like fun. Deliver attack with a potency of 100. Combos from True Thrust, okay, so it's a different way to go from this. Grants Power Surge, and Power Surge increases damage out by 10% for 30 seconds. Okay, so you True Thrust into Disembowel. You True Thrust into Life Surge into Vorpal Thrust, which is dealing 10% more from Disembowel, as well as crits from this. Of course, you also want to save this for Life Steal. Interesting. Full Thrust. Deliver attack potency of 100, Vorpal Thrust combo into 380. So when you hit this level, it goes True Thrust to Disembowel. True Thrust, Vorpal Thrust, Life Surge into Full Thrust. Feel free to correct me if I get any of this wrong. Lance Charge increases damage dealt by 10%. Okay, so say it with me. Lance Charge, True Thrust, Disembowel, we're up to now 20% damage. Into True Thrust, Vorpal Thrust, Life Surge for guaranteed crit, on Full Thrust, which is doing 20% more damage, and has a guaranteed crit, plus heals whatever damage is dealt. Am I getting this correct? I don't know either. Chaos Thrust. Deliver the attack with a potency of 100, 140 when executed from target's rear. Okay, a positional. I've heard about these. I don't think we've had any so far. Combo potential 220. Well, this goes from Disembowel. Okay. If you attack from behind, it goes to 260, a decent amount, but increase. Also does a dot with a potency of 40 over 24 seconds. Okay, so, if I got this right, why have to be complicated, Lancer? I understand you better than Arcanist, but not much. So, a fight starts, you're going up against the boss, right? Lance Charge, increase damage dealt by 10%. True Thrust, Disembowel for another 10% damage increase, which I hope means 20% and not 10% of 10. Into Chaos Thrust from behind to deal more damage plus a dot effect, which means you're taking damage over time while you're buffing yourself with damage. After that, you go back to True Thrust, into Vorpal Thrust, into Life Surge, because by now you've probably taken damage, to guarantee crit on your next skill. So, what ends up happening is you then go from Vorpal into Full Thrust, which is 380, plus 20% from these two damage buffs, plus a crit from Life Surge, for massive damage and massive healing. Did I get that right? Where are you, Orbo? Orbo? Okay, Orbo's crashed. I think I understand that, but that's a lot to do compared to some of these other classes. Alright, I think we have two more. Pugilist, aka Mr. Punchy, who uses bare knuckle fighting, or brass knuckles. Alright, Pugilist, are you complicated like your predecessor? Bootshine. Deliver attack with potency of 180. Oppo form bonus guarantees a crit hit while in Obo, damage dealt is increased while under effect of and changes to Raptor form. Is this going to be a stance-based character? I get it, fighting game characters like to punch and stances, but really? So, deliver attack. If you're an Oppo, is a crit. And then becomes Raptor. That'll probably be relevant later. Deliver attack with a potency of 260 can only be executed while Raptor. Okay, so form change into Raptor guarantees this, got it. Additional effect changes to Coil. Still can't say that. It's the cat thing. Okay, I'm guessing there's going to be a reason for all these form changes, but it's basically a combo from this to this. Snap Punch. Deliver attack with a potency of 230 to 90 when executed from a flank. Because we had a rear and a flank. Is flank side or rear behind? I don't know. I'll find out. I'll look it up. Can only execute while in Coil form. Changes to Oppo. Okay, so you Boot Shine, True Strike, Snap Punch into Boot Shine, which now has a damage or guaranteed crit. Back to True Strike. Okay, so it's a cycle that starts off weak, but if you keep it going, it's going to repeat and deal more damage. Steeled Meditation with an action change setting. Opens a chakra. Okay, I guess I'm going with chakra instead of chi. Or ki, or whatever. Up to 5 chakra could be opened at once, alright. Open all 5 chakra when used outside of combat, so if you do it before you fight, you get all 5. Conversely, execution of weapon skills trigger the cooldown of this action. Don't know what that means. Can only be executed while less than 5 chakras are open. So you use it and you get a chakra. Okay. What's chakra used for? Steel Peak. Deliver attack with a potency of 180. Same as this. Can only be executed while in combat under the effect of 5 chakra. Uses all 5 chakra when used. Okay, so I'm guessing it's a off global cooldown, which means you can Boot Shine instantly to Steel Peak for added damage. But then you have to get your chakra up. So maybe there's a reason for that? We'll find out. Twin Snakes. Deliver attack with a potency of 340 can only be executed while in Raptor form. Okay, so Boot Shine into True Strike into Snap Punch into Boot Shine into True Strike into Twin Snake. Grants Raptor's Fury, a stack of Raptor's Fury. While under Raptor's Fury increases potency of True Strike by 200. Changes to Coil. Last 30 seconds. So, Boot Shine, True Strike, Snap Punch, which allows this to do more damage, into True Strike into Twin Snake. Into Oppo? I'm missing something here. Armor that is short. Deliver attack with potency of 110 to all nearby enemies. If you're in Oppo form, to 120 instead, and becomes Raptor. So Boot Shine, True Strike, Snap Punch into Oppo into AoE damage, into True Strike, into Twin Snake. Okay, Pugilist, you're concerning me. Demolish. Deliver attack with potency of 280, 340 when executed from the rear. Okay, more positionals. Can be executed while in Coil form. So the third attack, instead of Snap Punch, Demolish, grants 2 stacks of Coil's Fury, which increases the damage of Snap Punch by 150. It changes to... Oh. So are you going to be constantly weaving between Boot Shine, True Strike, Snap, Boot Shine, Steel Peak, Twin Snake, into Boot Shine, True Strike, Demolish, into True Strike, Snap Punch? I'm gonna system crash. I'm dangerously close to system crash. Okay, Mantra. Increases HP recovery via healing actions by 10% for self and nearby party members. Increases healing done to you, without healing. Dragon Kick. Deliver attack with potency of 240. If you're an Oppo, grant a stack of Oppo Fury. Oppo Fury increases potency of Boot Shine by 200. Okay, between this, Arcanist, and the Lancer, I'm dangerously close to crashing. I think I understand Lancer. Pugilist, I have no idea. And Arcanist, I have to wait till I level up. Alright, last class. Are you going to be complicated with your twin daggers? Let's hope not. Spinning Edge. Deliver attack with 180. Shade Shift. Create a stun on the nullified damage of 20% of maximum HP. So as a shield, always called a shadow. Deliver attack with potency of 100, but if you combo, it's 260. Simple so far. Hide. Blend into your surroundings, making it impossible for enemies to detect you, but reducing movement speed by 50. Okay. Has no effect on enemies 10 levels higher than your own. Okay, so you can't dodge incredibly tough bosses, or certain enemies with special sight. Bosses. Cannot be executed while in combat. Okay. Effect ends upon any use, other than sprint or... Okay, so it's just a stealth. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Throwing dagger. Deliver range attack with potency 120. Mug. Deliver attack with potency 150. Increases target damage taken by 5%. Ooh. That means it works on teammates as well, because you're making the enemy take more damage rather than increasing your own damage. Interesting. Lantern would like to have you on the party. Trigger attack. Deliver attack with potency of 300. That's a lot. But it's a huge cooldown, so it's probably an off-global cooldown. 400 when executed from the rear. Okay, you gotta do it from behind. Don't say it. Can only be executed while under the effect of hidden. Oh, additional effect increases damage you deal to target by 10%. So Mug and Trick Attack will increase damage taken by 15%. But it can only be done while hidden. But if you can't use hidden against boss, I'm sure there's a reason for it. Alien Edge. Interesting. Deliver attack potency of 100, 160 when executed from the rear, but it combos from Gust Slash for even more damage and even more from the rear. Okay, so attack, move behind him, and hit him with this for huge damage. And Death Blossom. Deliver attack with potency of 100 to all nearby enemies. Okay, pretty simple, straightforward. Thank you for being easy, Rogue. You want to stealth, attack them from behind, increasing damage done to them, and pretty straightforward. Alright, so what did we learn? Besides the fact that Orbo is now KO'd and I'm dangerously close to crashing, trying to figure out some of those attacks. Well, simply put, I think I need to be leveling up Marauder, because that sounds like it's more my style. Max health, health regen. I mean, that's why I used to play Mundo in League of Legends. But other than that, Arcanist I gotta play to understand. Black Mage is still just, spells. Lancer I kind of understand as the one I understand most in terms of melee. Rogue is your typical assassin. White Mage is your typical healer. So, yeah, what are my goals now that we're going to take a break? And I'm probably going to need it after, I research aspected damage, rear versus flank versus straight on, and of course leveling up the classes and trying to figure out how the heck they work. When it comes to Monk, or Pugilist, whatever it's called, I'm probably going to look up a YouTube video on it. But for now, that concludes our adventure through Final Fantasy for a few weeks. Again, it's going to be 2 to 4 episodes, 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere around there. I'm going to take a week or two off and not play it, and then I'm going to level up. So when we next return to Final Fantasy, we'll have a bunch of different classes to play, and hopefully I'll have a better understanding of game mechanics. So with that, it is time for a break. Don't worry, I will have a substitute game in the meantime, so content will still go out, but after reading those, I need a break. And I need to restart Orbo. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed gaming. This has been The Mechanist, logging off. Until next time.